All right, let's go ahead, bring to order this meeting of Templeton Community Services District Board of Directors. Today is Tuesday, September 16th, 7 p.m. Roll call, please.
Directors Fardonish,
Here.
Logan,
Here.
Mortensen,
Here.
Peterson,
Here.
and Tyrone. Here.
All right, please stand for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thank you. Please have a seat. Okay, order of business. Do any of the board members like to change the order of business? Okay. I believe we have do you have a report for us?
I do, I have a small report for you.
Okay, great, go. Thank you for coming.
My name is Darren Janus, I'm the commander for Templeton CHP. I don't have September. Yes, I have some August statistics I put together last minute because I realized that I didn't gather those. I wasn't at the July meeting, and I think I submitted those. Do you know if you ever received those, if you had received those?
I thought we
Okay.
did receive a report.
I won't report on it then, so I'll give you August's information. For the total, and this is crash data only, for the period of August 2025, there were a total of 69 crashes in our Templeton response area. Of these, 14 were in Templeton's region in our community here, 9 were on county roads, and 5 were on the freeway. Of all of those collisions, in the entire region, 24 were injury and 45 only property damage. I may have mentioned in past meetings that I'm trying to track how often a CHP officer is in the community of Templeton, literally in the community, not on the freeways. And for the month of August, 38 times a patrol officer has been through the Templeton region on county roads or community roads. So that's at least 1 per day, if not more. But it may not be reflective of every single day, sometimes it's multiple times per day, but 38 times an officer was in the region in that period of time. So happy to report that. The schools are back in. We did receive a request at the end of last year for increased patrols around some regions. We had an officer go out for 2 weeks, various officers, all shifts. That means all periods of the day, 24 hours a day. I'm sorry, during the school hours. And there were no violations observed, but there was an officer present at the Templeton High School and Vineyard Elementary locations just to monitor traffic. And I do know that we have a couple officers that live in town here, and they give special attention to the schools over here because they're local. So it helps out a little bit more. That's all I have to present. Any questions of the board for me?
Thank you. Any
No.
questions? Public, any questions? Or command here? No? Okay, great.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Good day.
Public comment section. Members of public may address the board on any items of interest within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, but not on the agenda today. Any public members would like to make any public comments on the non-agenda items? Okay. All right, let's go to consent agenda. We have several items on the consent agenda. We have the minutes from September 2nd, 2025, which was amended a little bit. So, and then we have from what we have in our packet, we have the treasurer report from July of 2025. We have budget amendment for feed and grain fire. We have the budget amendment for fire station HVAC replacement upgrade. And we have a request for Templeton Community Plan update. Do any of the board members like to pull the item?
I would like to pull item D, recommended fire station HVAC upgrade.
And then I'll just like to pull the item C for budget, for feed and grain budget. All right. So other than that, do I have a motion to approve items 6A, B, and E?
I'll make a motion that the board approve item A, the minutes of the September 2nd regular board meeting. Item B, the treasurer's report for the period ending July of 2025. And item E, the request for the Templeton Community Plan update.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, roll call, please.
Directors Logan,
Aye.
Peterson,
Yes.
Mortensen,
Aye.
Tyrone. And Fredonish.
Aye. Great. Okay, great, so let me, I guess, I just wanna address the item C, for the budget amendment, with the amounts that are on there. I just wanna go and just say what a blessing it was to have all those agencies here. And they worked so hard, for Templeton, and they're not charging us for that, that's amazing. I also like to, thank our staff. Justin is here, he worked all night long, and for his crew to be available on 4th of July, that was a big deal too, and to try to resolve the issue with the water pressure, that was great. Carrie came in a couple of times, and that was wonderful, much appreciated. From Parks and Department, I saw Bree out there setting up a tent for the shade for CHP officer and the sheriff officers. I mean, and obviously our firefighters, and everyone was involved. Our general manager was constantly in communications with everyone. So I just want to say how proud I am of this team and much appreciated. And we are very blessed to have from this fire just have, nominal expenses. And I believe there's donation on there.
Yeah, they do, make sure, about $14,000 in donations that we received specific to the fire costs.
Yeah.
And so those are reflected, if this is approved, those will be deposited in the fire fund revenue column.
Great. Well,
And those donations, are they coming in directly into the district or to the fire department?
Some cash did come to the fire fund. Some cash was collected at the Templeton Market in Delhi. And then we received 4 more substantial check deposits that came to the district's office.
So do we know the variance, well, do we know the total cost of our response to that fire yet?
Well, okay, so the costs that are captured here are costs that we hadn't planned on spending. So these would be like overtime and other things that were related to the fire specifically. We would have other costs. Well, I mean, we had other time devoted to there that didn't necessarily increase what we had planned to spend, and so it's not reflected here. So like, the time the fire chief spent on the scene and that I was involved, or anything that didn't incur an overtime cost, it isn't reflected, or even the crew that was on duty at the time.
So this is the total cost to the district at this point, because I understand you and the fire chief are exempt, so there is no overtime expense incurred. But I want to make sure this is the total cost.
It is.
Okay.
Anything that was above and beyond what we would have expected to spend.
Okay. And I would like to echo what Director Fredonish had mentioned too, because I think we are very fortunate that those other agencies that responded to this fire have agreed to waive those expenses. And for the public, after 12 hours of mutual aid, we could have been charged. The district could have been charged. So, and I also say that it's a credit to our fire responders, our first responders, and how they managed that fire and kept it contained. It's a miracle. So I just want to echo those thoughts as well.
great, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. All right, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to approve the budget amendment for feed and grain fire. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Directors Fredonish,
Aye.
Peterson,
Yes.
Logan,
Aye.
Mortensen,
Aye.
and Tyrone. Aye.
All right. Next item is the budget amendment for fire station HVAC replacement or upgrade. Director Mortensen, you have comments or questions?
Comment and kind of a request, if we will, clarification in the fire and emergency management meeting. We can get a little bit of a synopsis or engineering on how the new system will integrate into the renovations that are happening.
Yeah, I can attempt to answer that now, and then we can also make sure we cover that in the committee meeting if you'd like a more in-depth description. So essentially, the system that's there now is many years old. It's a single unit that has, ducting into the two sleeping rooms and into the common space. Couple years ago, we experienced problems with the furnace side. Had some extended repairs. At the time, we knew that parts were hard to come by for this unit. Couple weeks ago, the coolant side quit cooling. The techs believe it's a leak within the coils of the unit itself, not repairable. We did recharge the system, but it didn't hold for more than a couple of days and is no longer performing. So what we're seeking, and we're coordinating this with a HVAC contractor as well as the architect and the HVAC consultant that worked for the architect, is to install a system that will have ducting to the new locations, because we're gonna add another bedroom and another bathroom and a hallway to that upstairs space eventually. So the ducting will be appropriately located. And this is like a mini split unit. It's actually like a ductless, it's there'll be locations of cool and heat in each room and in the common space. And then it also has a fresh air. The code requires for new construction that there be an amount of fresh air always coming into the building. And so we're working to finalize the specs of the units so that it's compatible with the permit that we're currently applying for the whole. So that's the concept. We don't have we're still kind of fine tuning some of those details because it's kind of gone back and forth between the architect and their team and what the HVAC company can provide. But we're pretty confident we get this done for $35,000. That's the idea, is that when the construction takes place up there, we won't have to change any of the HVAC system.
Any other questions?
No, I just feel bad for them being without AC right now, given that our temperatures have climbed back up.
Any questions from public on this item? I'll bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion for this item. I'll make a motion to go ahead and make the budget amendment for fire station HVAC replacement upgrade.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Directors Fardonish,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Mortensen,
Aye.
Peterson,
Yes.
and Tyra. Aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. All right, so all the items on the consent agenda passed. Okay, business, award of design services agreement for well sites project. Is this our engineer? Yeah.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Lori Azim. I'm the district engineer for Tumbolton Community District. The item before you tonight is regarding two projects that have long been spoken of in the district that are moving forward into final design. So what we did in approaching these two projects is one of the projects is the Platts well replacement. And then we also have another site, the Creekside Ranch Road site, which also has a recharge and recovery project that has been talked about for quite some time. And since both those projects have river wells involved, there is going to be a design of those river wells with the buildings and the electrical and backup power and all those things. We decided to go out for one RFP for both those sites because of the timing as well. The need to move forward for final design for these two projects kind of aligned. And so in your packet and in the staff report, we talk about a little bit of the history of the Platts River well. We actually did have a well on what's called the Platts site, which is off Calle Propano in Paso Robles for some time. It was actually one of the first wells here in the district and was a great producing well. But over time, the Department of Drinking Water was saying that that well was actually placed a little bit too close to the surface water of the Salinas River. And so for some time, it's been limited in use. And it was still considered active or still able to be turned on and tested until 2023 when the well ended up failing. And so we were working with the Department of Drinking Water to take it off the list and around this time, and around the time I joined the district about a year and a half ago, it became more and more prevalent that we need this water. And so the push to actually design the well started. We did some preliminary site layouts with MKN. And actually MKN, John Hamlin is online with us today to answer any questions you may have, but he was involved in doing that preliminary siting of the new river well. And so we have some preliminary plans, and we also got the topographic mapping done and some soils engineering done, all feeding into what will be the final design of the well site. So the last step on that one is to go further along in design and also meet with the Department of Drinking Water to confirm where we're wanting to go with the location is okay. And then we'll push into construction, hopefully spring of next year. So that's the Platts site, and that's been on budgets for quite some time. I think since 2023, we've been budgeting to replace that well. The second project that we've rolled into this, what we're calling the well sites project, is the Nacimiento Recharge and Recovery Project, which, as I mentioned, is on the Creekside Ranch Road site, which is that large property that the district now owns. It's about a total of 50 acres, where we do have 2 existing wells, the Creekside River and the Creekside Deep wells, that we blend that water together, and it's one of our largest water sources. So, previously we've come to the board for the relocation of our Nacimiento turnout, which is being headed up by the SLO County Flood Control District. They're taking on that part of the project to design the relocation of the turnout, because the current location of our Nacimiento water turnout is to the Selby site. And so our Selby site is constrained. We can't take all of that Nacimiento water allocation. And so now we've gone through a process of going through alternatives analysis and relocating that to this site where we can accommodate. And we feel like we'll have better luck with infiltration, and then recover that water that we take into a percolation pond later on in some wells on the site. So all of this, background with the county, and even with talking with Department of Drinking Water, has kind of led us to the point where we have good amount of information to push into final design. And so that is the second half of this project. And so we went out to RFP in late July, and because it was such a large project, I wasn't very generous. I only gave 4 weeks. And so we ended up having a request to extend it. So it was extended to the end of August, where we received 2 proposals, very well done proposals, from MKN and Associates and WSC. And those were included in your packets and available in the link if anybody would like to look at those. And we ended up we did open up the cost proposals, and that kind of played into our final choice that Justin and I rated the 2 proposals, and MKN did come out as a higher rated firm. And the amounts that they gave us in their budgets actually aligned quite closely with what was estimated in the budget for the 2025-26 year. So we're falling into where we expected to be for the design of these projects. There will be other consultants in the future that we will need to involve, like environmental consultants and the hydrogeologists. So we will revisit, the final costs, and then we'll also have to go into construction for the 2 different sites in future. So we will be coming back with those as we get further along and go out to bid and know more about how much each location is going to cost. And that'll go hand in hand, on the Creekside site with the turnout construction itself. And so there'll be more points where we'll be talking about these projects and looking at budgets of them going forward. So, with that said, I didn't know if you guys had any question on the background of the projects, or on anything, in particular about costs or anything like that, before we move forward. And also, like I said, John Hanlon with MKN is here, if you had any particular questions about their proposal.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No.
Uh,
More comments than
yeah,
anything.
okay, any questions? I'm just going to go to the public then. Any questions, from the public on this item? Okay. And you said our, consultant is? And do
Yes,
they
so-
have,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
have, what's,
John.
John, do you have any comments? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for letting me be here. No, my only comments are that, you know, we've been working with the district for a couple years, kind of anticipating this project. We put together, I think, a good project approach. There's some complexities, there's some regulatory items that need to be addressed, there's design items that need to be addressed, and the district is wanting to standardize some facilities that we've worked out a plan for. So, yeah, we're just excited to get started.
Great, thank you. All right, I'll come back to the board for any comments.
So I just want to say thank you, Lori. The RFP, I think, was very detailed. You did a great job on that. And this is really 3 separate projects that are kind of being mended together or molded together, which makes sense. But certainly the Plax Well was not initially part of this, nor was the the Nasi turnout that the county is leading that effort, but we're still engaged with that. So there's a lot of moving parts. I mean, initially it was just getting Shelby over to Creekside, so we could take more Nasi water. But a lot has happened since then. So I just want to thank you for the RFP. You could tell there was a lot of time and effort put into that, and it was very detailed. And I'm sure, Justin, you probably played a role in that as well. Thank you both. Yeah, well, I think it takes a team effort, so thank you both. And I think the response from MKN, I was very impressed with their response to the RFP. It was very well prepared, well organized. So I would go with that, the staff's recommendation.
Any other comments? Yeah, I just want to echo what you said. Great job. Thank you. Appreciate it. Very detailed. And also these projects are really, really important to our, for our water, for Templeton, for our residents, and for any future development. So I am excited and eager to move forward and get these projects, taken care of, because it will mean a lot to us. So thank you again for investing time and effort on this. So appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah, the one other comment I wanted to say is that these 2 projects are actually on the strategic plan item that'll be spoken about later. So I'm really excited to have something, checked off.
Progress, yeah.
There you go.
That,
There you go.
and that, I feel like that was a good motivation for a lot of us to keep moving the timeline. So,
Wow.
thank you.
Well, that's good. Glad to hear strategic plan is working.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are no further comments, I will entertain a motion for this item.
So I'll make a motion that the Board of Directors authorize staff to execute an agreement with MKN and Associates to prepare final design documents for the Blackwell River Well replacement in the amount not to exceed $200,000, and the Creekside Ranch Road site, the Nasi Recharge and Recovery Project, in the amount not to exceed $312,000 for a total of $512,000.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Directors Logan,
Aye.
Mortensen,
All right.
Peterson,
All right.
Tyrone. Aye. And Bardonish.
Motion passes 5-0. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, John, for coming. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next item is a resolution number 14-2025, which is adjustment of cafeteria plan contributions.
Yes, good evening. As the board, may recall, the district in 2014 amended its, health insurance contribution program and set up a cafeteria plan, for a couple of reasons. Primarily so that there was not an obligation beyond what I'll refer to as the PEMCA minimum, a minimal amount, for employees once they retire. Prior to 2014, the district's for employees hired prior to 2014, the district's on the hook for health insurance for its employees who retire from the district. So that was the primary motivating factor. The second factor was so that you had more control of district contributions towards health insurance. You're not necessarily on the hook for all the cost increases as health insurance costs go up. So and now, the vast majority of our employees fall into this post 2014 category, 20, soon to be 21 of 25 full-time employees. PERS recently announced health insurance rates for 2026, and we're approaching, or actually maybe yesterday, the open enrollment period started. PERS does an open enrollment period from mid-September to mid-October, and that's when employees can choose the health insurance plan for 2026. For 2026, the health insurance rates did go up. Each plan goes up a different amount. It depends on what's negotiated between PERS and the health insurance providers. For the past several years, the lower cost PPO that PERS offers, called PERS Gold, has been the lowest cost plan. For 2026, it went up a little faster than another plan. That was the Blue Shield Trio HMO. And so the Blue Shield Trio HMO is the lowest cost plan for 2026. Employees can choose to be in whichever plan they'd like. There's a lot of options available through CalPERS, so it's a great program from the perspective of choice. We do have folks who might have specific needs or preferences, HMO, PPO, certain doctors that might be affiliated with just one plan or another. And so employees can choose whichever they'd like, but the district's contribution is has been based on a set amount. And it's recommended that the board adjust the contributions so that the original goal of back in 2014 of funding 100% of the employee-only plan, the lowest cost plan, is maintained, and then 80% for the cost of the dependents is maintained, again, for the lowest cost plan. So that's what's recommended. This would cost about 8.3% in increased contributions. In 2026, we budgeted for about a 7.5% increase, so there's a slightly higher cost if this were approved, but there's some other cushion or buffer in the salary and benefits line items that can absorb that about 0.8% increase for the second half of the fiscal year. So there is enough money in the budget to cover these costs. Again, the way the district funds this program is through a cafeteria plan. Our contract with CalPERS requires that we pay what's known as the PEMCA minimum. It's $162 beginning in 2026, and the rest of the contributions are funded through an IRS Section 125 cafeteria plan. And so that's the structure that we set up in 2014 to allow you to make these changes on a year-to-year basis. If the board approves this resolution, the contributions will go up in the amount that's shown on the second page of the staff report. It's also detailed in the resolution itself, but there's not an obligation to automatically adjust contributions for 2027. That would be a discretionary decision by the board based on the facts at the time. So likely late next summer, you'd be looking at that or considering those adjustments. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I do want to point out that my expectation is that most employees will probably stick with the PERS Gold PPO plan. since most of our employees are in that plan. And so even though the contributions that are recommended to go up, employees will likely pay a little bit more than what's listed here if they stick on that plan. Their costs will go up between, on top of the costs that are illustrated here for the lowest cost plan, the PERS Gold plans between $20 and $50 more per month, depending on the number of, if it's employee only or one dependent or two dependents. So my expectation is employees will see a little bit bigger contribution in 2026 than what they've paid so far if they stick with the PPO. If they move to the lower cost HMO plan, then you'll have made up for most of the cost increase.
Thank you. Any questions for the general manager on this item? Public, any questions for general manager? No, okay, come back to the board. Any comments on this item? I just, I'm for trying to, I hate to see people go negative in their paycheck, so, backwards, so I'm for making this adjustment, so I think it's important for our staff, so,
I would agree, only because we do have the funds to cover the additional cost. And right now with inflation, I think it's the right thing to do as well.
And I would consider the same as it's only for this first year. So as we see fit, whatever costs increase in the next year, we can make those readjustments.
exactly. Okay. Any other comments? No? Okay. Can I go ahead and entertain a motion for this item then? Okay, I'll go ahead and make the motion, to approve resolution number 14-2025, adjustment of cafeteria plan contributions. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, roll call please.
Directors Hardonish,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Mortensen,
All right.
Peterson,
Yes.
Tyrone.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Next item is resolution number 15-2025 is regular board meeting schedule. We discussed this at our committee with the finance and admin committee, so go ahead, General Manager.
Sure, just a little bit of background. This item kind of was discussed several months ago when you first started talking about strategic planning, and you were outlining some of the things that you wanted to accomplish, and something that came up during that discussion was, should the board consider moving its meeting schedule from a twice a month fixed or regular meetings to once a month. So that item came before the Admin and Finance Committee in August. To help the committee prepare, we had done a little survey of some of the special districts within the county. And that's attached to your staff report. You can see that right now we're one of only a couple of special districts that do have two regular meetings a month, us and Pomo. Well, fairly recently, Oceano and Cambria have gone to one meeting a month. And then most others have always been, or have been for a long time, one meeting a month. So when this item was discussed at the committee meeting, the committee was in favor of bringing this forward to the board and recommending that you consider adopting or altering your schedule to one meeting a month. There was also some discussion about considering the start time of the meeting. The committee recognized that the board had discussed that earlier in the year and felt that while basically information at the time, there wasn't a consensus to move forward with changing that start time from 7 o'clock to another time, that it seemed as though most of the board members would be able to start a little earlier. And if we move to one meeting a month, there might be value in doing so, as it would prevent the meetings from going on as long. Maybe instead of being out of here at 10 o'clock, you might be out of here at 9:30, etc. But that's totally up to the board in terms of your preference in terms of the start time. But I think it makes some sense that you would expect your regular, if you go to once a month meetings, those meetings will likely be a little longer. We'll just have a few more items on most of the meeting agendas. I think it's worth noting that over the last 3 years, we've canceled about 6 meetings a year. The difference in approach really here is when we cancel a meeting, you usually don't know until the week prior, unless it lands like on a holiday. And so in this case, if you were to adopt this revised meeting schedule, you would know, well in advance when the meetings are and not necessarily be holding those other Tuesdays. You probably will end up with a handful of additional special meetings. I would anticipate there could be periodically items that come up. Not necessarily urgent items, but items that you face a deadline that might be before your next a board meeting. Or there are topics that you want to devote sufficient time and energy to that you decide that you want to hold those on a special meeting or a workshop type setting in lieu of including it in the board meeting. So when it's all said and done, I don't think the number of meetings are changing a whole heck of a lot. You might be eliminating maybe 3 additional meetings a year that you have not, they previously have attended. Again, given that you cancel on average of 6 already. And assuming we end up with 2 or 3 additional special meetings, you probably attending maybe 3 or 4 fewer meetings a year. I'm happy to answer any questions, and obviously the committee members, those who attend that committee meeting are here and can shed additional light on this. We did recommend the 3rd Tuesday of the month. If you were to move to a 1 meeting a month schedule, we recommend the 3rd Tuesday of the month. It doesn't fall on any routine holidays, and the 1st Tuesday of the month occasionally does. Occasionally falls on the January 1st holiday, or so close to it that it's problematic, or the July 4th holiday. So there's fewer holiday conflicts with the 3rd Tuesday. I think there's a couple of, every once in a while, it lands on the same week as Thanksgiving, but it doesn't land on the traditional Thanksgiving holiday.
Any questions for the general manager?
No questions here.
No question. When will this take effect? Next month or?
The way it's drafted right now is it would take effect immediately, and so you wouldn't have a meeting until the third Tuesday in October, but you can alter that if you'd like and have a delayed impact. You could say, hey, look, we'll do it, but I don't want it to take effect until some date in the future, and we can add that into the resolution on the spot. Additionally, it's not difficult to change this. If you want to give this a go, and then a year from now, you say, look, you know what, I feel like we're missing something. You could amend it back. I just would encourage you not to be too willy-nilly with the decisions. I mean, I think it's important to the public that your meetings be predictable, and not up in the air too much. And so that if you approve the resolution, that we're kind of looking to make it reasonably permanent.
We have things that are slated, that we have a deadline that starting effectively would be a challenge.
Like if you didn't have your first meeting in October, no.
We have one item that
It's not we just had tentatively planned on having the appointments of the Measuring Oversight Committee, but we can move that to the next meeting. We'll just inform those applicants that that's the case.
So I think there's the one issue that I'll bring up, and I know it's significant for everyone, is the fireworks issue. And it's something that takes a little precedence to us. So we have the fire and emergency meeting that we're going to review those measures that may take priority. I believe that the 6:30 3rd Tuesday works efficiently for it, but we should also allocate times for these meetings that we would have on the first Tuesdays, that we would say like special meetings. Identify whether those are going to be 6:30, 7 o'clock. If we're going to start bringing individuals in.
When we schedule the special meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think we would have the flexibility to say if we're doing a special meeting to say, let's hold it at 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So I think.
So special meetings require 24-hour notice. The way your bylaws work is the board president can call a special meeting. And typically when we've held special meetings, we've ascertained your availability. Sometimes they're called or just decided upon during the course of a regular meeting that you want to hold a special meeting. You guys can agree right then and there when you want it to be. But we would typically seek out your availability before the special meeting is called, to ensure that you are available. And yes, I think it makes some sense to be as consistent as possible. Again, not if you're gonna have a special meeting, particularly if it's something that you think the public's interested in, that it would be consistent, probably it's recommended starting at 6:30, not at 9 o'clock at night or 2 in the afternoon, so that it's possible, so again, the citizens, you know, kind of know when the meetings are. There have been periods of time when the district has changed its regular meeting dates and times. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't uncommon for those things to change. They've been 7 o'clock first and third Tuesday for like 20 years.
So here's my comments. Well, yeah, go ahead with the public.
I know there's no
Oh,
public.
wait, there's no public
Yeah.
now.
So we'll just, I'll come right back. Okay, I'm just gonna open this to public. Any questions or comments? Okay, no, all right, bring it back to. Board. Go.
So, my comment is that I support this idea. My concern is that, or what I would ask is that the general manager and the board president, who both collaborate on the agenda, kind of look at what you anticipate the length of the meeting to be. What I wouldn't want to see is that our meetings become so long that we're here until 10 o'clock at night. So I would say that I support starting at 6:30, but can you kind of say, well, based on the agenda, we're going to one meeting, based on the agenda, we anticipate that will be done by 9:30. And if we can keep to it being no longer than 9:30, I think it's reasonable. But if we see that the list of items that we need to cover are going to be needing more attention or more time, to go from 6:30 to 9:30, that we then call a special meeting for some of those items. And I think it's also the special meetings is something that, you know, the general manager, you look and say, well, there's a sense of urgency. I need a response from the board, to take action, therefore a special meeting is necessary. But I support this. And I'm sure Carrie supports it as well. You know, to start the meeting a little earlier, so we're out of here a little earlier. But I don't see that there's, for the time that I've served on the board since 2016, I think there hasn't been really that many special meetings. I think I mean, the one that I recall most recently is the fire. But other than that,
For
you
the
know.
most
we've
part, the
had-
special meetings have been kind of planned and known in advance,
Yeah,
like you hold a
yeah.
budget workshop as
Yeah,
a special
yeah.
meeting or.
Yeah, but we've planned for. 'Em.
Right, exactly.
So in advance of our board meeting, so we've kept it separate, but, so I support this. I think it makes sense, that we, you know, just meet once. I know it takes a lot of staff time to prepare for each meeting. If we can cut some of that, staff time, I know you still have to prepare the reports, but if we can combine it, it might make it a little more efficient for your operations as well.
Yeah, no, for sure there'll be some savings. You know, at the conclusion of every meeting, we're you know, gonna post this stuff to, you know, convert it to YouTube video, post it to YouTube, and then there's some routine items that are associated with every meeting, you know, just preparing and reviewing an agenda, et cetera. So there will be some staff time savings, that occur.
Certainly with the board too.
Yeah, and there'll be some savings to the board. Like I said, I think really it's probably only about a shift of maybe 3 meetings a year, because you've been canceling 6 anyway on average. So,
Well, and it might be a way also to get more public participation, because if it's not just 2 meetings a month that they are having to attend, it's just 1 meeting. Maybe perhaps that would, get the public more engaged. So,
To run for the seat or something like that, for elections. And
yeah,
stuff.
well, yeah, just to
Yeah.
attend the meetings, you know, that would even be nice. So I support this change, so.
I do support it, but I want to reiterate the idea that the first Tuesday of the month, if we at least individuals in the public identify that they may have special meetings, like unless there's circumstances surrounding things differently, like an emergency or whatnot. They recognize that that may be the opportunity for a special meeting, so they are notified and they understand that it's still the common schedule is the first and the third meetings when we have our general meetings, but there may be, and so that they at least
So you're saying keep the first Tuesday of the month as kind of a placeholder.
placeholder.
Yeah.
Special meeting, and that, so the public knows that if there is something special, then there will be a meeting, but if not, it could be canceled.
Correct.
So, so
Well, I
you're
wouldn't say
also saying that, well, it would be canceled because if we're
We're not,
saying
we're not generally having that meeting, but if we were to call a general special meeting.
it would be on that.
Preference
We'll
would be given
attempt-
to that.
But I
We'll
think,
attempt that.
yeah, but I don't know that we can always do that because if
No.
there's a deadline or something that's
Of
urgent.
course, and those are exceptions to that.
So I think maybe so I don't think that belongs in the resolution, but I think you could say, if the board does consider adopting this resolution, that in addition to adopting the resolution, that the board president and staff are encouraged, when possible, to consider the first Tuesday at the same time for special meetings,
Yes.
if they're ever needed. And that's really
Unless there's-
like you're saying, that's, if you're gonna have a special meeting, your preference would be to hold it on the first Tuesday.
Yes.
And that makes sense.
Any other comments? Yeah, and, oh, sorry. did you want to say something? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just think that our special meetings most likely is gonna be when we do the budget workshop, so it actually may give us an opportunity where it allows us to go a little bit longer for our budget workshop when we,
Yeah.
we start, we don't
Yes.
have to worry
I just don't
about-
wanna make it practice. I attend tag.
Then the other thing would be like when we did our strategic plan, we had special meetings for that, so. Well, we've done it, so we're okay for 3 years, but we may have to call a special meeting.
Well, it
special
just,
meeting for
it's,
that.
if a meeting goes too long, you
Yeah.
lose kind of people.
Yeah.
People get tired, especially for those people who work during the day. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I see the 6:30 timeline is afforded enough individuals that they could have the opportunity to show up.
Yes.
I think the one time a month affords the individuals the opportunity where they would want to participate more.
Yeah. Yeah, not feeling like, oh, there's 2 meetings a month, you know, yeah, so I support this change.
Any other comments? Okay, I'll go ahead, then I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I'll make I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 15-2025. Regular board meeting schedule, the board will consider that resolution, amending the board meetings to 1 meeting per month on the 3rd Tuesday at 6:30 p.m.
I second the motion.
Roll call, please.
Directors Mortensen,
Aye.
Logan,
Aye.
Peterson,
Yes.
Tyrone,
Aye.
and Fardonish.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
And can we talk about timing? Because I should have mentioned that too, but yeah, so when we want to start making this change?
Oh,
The resolution that you just passed is effective immediately.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
your
sorry.
next regular meeting.
So next regular meeting, so come October, it'll be the second or
It's
the
the
third.
At
Tuesday.
6:30. yes.
Okay, good to know. Just for.
So on October 7th, which would have been your next meeting, there will not be a notice of cancellation. There just won't be an agenda set unless it's a special meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there something you can put in the water bill to make, send out a communication
it comes out,
to?
yeah, every night, it does say.
We put the board meeting agendas on the water meeting, but we can make it kind of
Well,
clearer
just-
than just that's
Well, just.
new meeting
yeah,
schedule.
Yeah, the new meeting.
to once a
is
month.
Third Tuesday.
That'd be good.
No, we've had times when there was one person that said, oh, the meeting was canceled, and then
Yeah.
they showed up.
Well, and also.
So that's good then. Hopefully we'll have less cancellation, so that's, I think that's nice. Okay. Next,
Strategic plan?
yes, wait, keep out there, yes, yes, so, item D, 2025-2028 strategic plan update, is that our new assistant?
Yeah,
Justin?
Justin and Carrie led the effort to provide this update, and so I'll turn this over to them to outline the contents and answer questions.
No pressure. Right, some notes on your performance.
Save that paper.
Carrie and I did have the opportunity to meet with those responsible for the objectives, supporting actions. And that was mainly by department. But before I get into the strategic plan update, I wanted to review it. May 30th, it was approved, our strategic plan, Templeton's Community Service District's plan. it looking at a 3-year, time period, goals stretching from 2025 to 2028. With, I believe, biannual updates. So a total of, 6 updates. Those were purposeful in trying to gain insight and prepare budgets, I believe, so that, we're providing an update tonight, for the month of September, and then we will be again in March, and hoping to, in this, communicating with, our department and responsible parties, have better insight, preparation for budgetary items, for the 2026-2027 budget. So again, Carrie and I did have the opportunity to meet with responsible parties and, departments. My goal, tonight is to obtain input and feedback from you all. I want to, better this process, better this, update over the next, 5. And so if there's any feedback that you have that we can, the team, if we can better this, the feedback, the format, the layout of this document, I want to make sure that we make good on that. So interested in obtaining any feedback from you.
So in addition to the budgetary aspect of this, it's also, it's an opportunity to celebrate successes. So when something is completed, in addition to your day job. So you're kind of managing the day-to-day operations, but you also have to look longer term. And so when some of these are completed, I think it's reason to celebrate the successes. So I hope we take time to celebrate those successes as well. Because sometimes we don't do that enough.
I want to support that. And I highly believe, like, especially involvement when individual tasks, details have been completed, that we can notify the public. Individuals, whether it's through a board meeting or whatnot, to say
To
these
our
things
homes.
have been completed or they're in progress. At the same time, not to dismiss anyone, if we do have delays on things, we give a reasonable communication to the public and why these things are being delayed.
Yeah.
And just that communication to the public will allow that win.
So our intent here is, after tonight's discussion, assuming if there are no changes or if there are some things you'd like to have, better explained, we would make those right here, right now. And then if you approve this update, and the reason I say approve is because under the fire fund, we've actually added a couple of items that related to fireworks, because they were not things we anticipated working on a couple months ago. And now they've become fairly significant and urgent, particularly the enforcement aspects. And so we wanted to capture that as something that was new. That this document will actually will be inserted in the place of the original strategic plan, so folks can kind of get a rolling tally. And then in 6 months, when the next update comes, the comments from September 2025 will be in blue, and the next update might be in fuchsia or. I don't know. It'll be in another color, and so it'll be kind of, the idea is that it's a running report.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
living kind of report.
Yeah.
We
I
know
like
who-
that.
We
I
know
like
who's
that.
the boss, don't we? We'll see.
I had my say on this one. It was red last week, and I said.
That's right, that's right.
Start with red.
Yeah.
If you're colorblind.
Well, that might be. Is that blue? I think it's blue.
It's hard to even tell it's blue, but it is.
No,
So we're prepared to go through this.
Yeah.
In as much, answer questions, or just if it's all acceptable and it makes sense to you and you don't need to talk about anything further, then that's okay too.
I have a couple of questions. I don't know if we want to go through the whole thing, but, my first question is, what does NTR stand for?
Oh my gosh.
Nothing to, so those were kind of things that we felt there wasn't a percentage to give it, because it's an ongoing item, so it's not something that will ever be complete. So. Or I'm sorry, no, that's not what that is.
It's in the comment section, but we can actually add a little description to that.
So how do you want to approach this, Justin?
Yeah.
You want to just go through each item that has a response?
Yeah, so we were thinking instead of going through each one, if you had any questions, we could, just go read,
Page?
each page, maybe by page. I wanted to point out about that NTR in the comment section. We had a short window here. So this concluded, the approval was May 30th. And here we are in a short period of time, we're in September. As far as the percentage, complete, the status and any comments, it was a short period of time. And so, something like the feed and grain fire diverted a lot of resources, time and attention from, the district and its, staff. And so, whereas maybe we could have had more progress on some of these items, it's early, yes, but, some of these items may have had further progress.
But if I'm not mistaken, General Manager, on some of your reports to the board, your weekly reports, you've indicated that you and Natalie have been meeting, if I'm not mistaken, with CalPERS to address the pension plan funding.
So if you're gonna go to the first,
Well, the NPR.
okay, yeah. So we've actually been doing some work on the OPEB liability
Yeah.
side. That's also through CalPERS, but that's why we kind of suggested we're like 25% the way through that. We've brought some information to the Finance and Admin Committee about the OPEB trust. On the CalPERS, really our UAL or under the
Yeah.
liability, I attended a webinar last week. But we've really haven't made any progress with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, in terms of having a policy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Just-
okay. So there's still some work that has been initiated.
Yeah, and I wanna be really honest with you. Okay, again, this is a 3-month plan. This really represents 3 months of that effort, so less than 10% of the plan period. And the status here was as of the last date that Justin and Carrie discussed it with like the fire chief or with myself, that might have been 2 weeks ago. And so it's not up to the minute current. It's just,
The living document.
So within the living document, is there the ability to just at least date each one of the comments?
So can you scroll down so it's clear? What we put down here, yes, they're kind of hard to tell in this format, but
Okay.
on the bottom of each foot, there's a footer that says these are all September 2025.
Okay.
And then in March, there'll be another one. And then Fuchsia. It's gonna be hot big, but yeah, then that's how we envision this working. So that makes sense.
So it's the responsibility of the general manager and assistant general manager to actually update this document with information from the department heads?
Yes,
And then do the department heads, like, are they still being able to like view the living document and?
oh yeah, and they all of it. It's kind of done in real time with each team, the responses.
Yeah, I think the color coding of the comments, like as we go down, will make it more clear.
Yeah, we tried to add that, we were adding that percentage complete and then a status to try and gain insight, somehow capture, progress.
Question, so for the ones that have nothing to report right now, that means that we just like haven't started tackling them, okay, got it. Yeah, cause all of the NTRs are 0%, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, but at the same time, a lot of those NTRs are, what is that called? The target completion dates, they're in like,
Or,
far out, so that's expected.
Yeah.
I would worry about NTRs that are closer to,
So
target completion date.
number 4 though has a December 26th, so are we still on track then? If we've got 0 completion?
Yeah, we think we are.
Okay,
If it says on track, we've evaluated it and said, yeah, we think we can still meet that deadline.
okay,
For the most part, that percentage or that on track, that was a gut check by whoever the responsible party is.
okay.
There wasn't necessarily an analytic tool that was used to identify that, but just you're responsible and
Actually, I believe what we just did tonight with the changing of our meeting
Yeah,
time to
there's a
once a
few.
month, that's the reason we put, we decided to change the meeting times to once a month because of legal services. That we're gonna, down the road, we're hoping to have an attorney at the meetings, and so I think maybe once we've already taken a step towards
Yeah,
that.
I think you.
So we've reduced our legal expenses, is that what you're saying?
No, reduce our contract. Yes, exactly. So they don't have to show up every 2 weeks. Yeah, so I mean,
Great.
I have a few questions, I guess, subject matter questions, fire, but I don't know if anybody has anything.
Well, we're going through one,
Oh, okay.
one page at a time, so the first page, do you have any more comments? And then we move to the second page?
Yeah. Any questions, comments on the first page? Okay, or do you just want to do it by department, is it easier? Or you
Was
wanna
the
do by
department
page?
or just page, if we do page by page?
Organized both ways. Like it's
So,
fire.
Okay, all right, so second page, any questions on the second page?
We'll have an update for speech. We'll have an update. Oh, no, that's district office hours, never mind.
No comments from me on the second page.
No, okay. Okay, third page, is the whole platform for a publicly available searchable record of district resolutions. That's 5% complete. And the second item is evaluate options to add additional offices and employee break room to district office to accommodate long-term expansion. And doesn't have to happen until June of 28, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is the fire and emergency. Any first page, any questions on those? About Safer Grant? There's a couple of items on hold because of Safer Grant application, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, do we have any idea of the window of response for when we'll know about?
Oh, I think we were told September, so this month.
Yeah, okay.
Just keep in mind, I just want to just kind of clarify that at the time these goals were developed, we thought the Safer Grant opportunity would be similar to how it's been in the past, and it's not the same program. And so even though we applied for Safer Grant, it wouldn't necessarily do what it's doing for us today.
And so, I'm assuming, so the December 25 presentation that we're expecting from fire chief should still be on track.
It's listed as on track. Yes, it's probably not fair because this is an area where we feel like we've been diverted pretty significantly. The fire, when we were asked to start really putting a lot of effort into fireworks, it's going to take the committee's attention and really some administrative attention to get that in a spot so that we can do some work next July. And so,
Does this target need to be revisited?
the fire chief thought it's still possible to meet the December 2025.
Well, it's 50%.
I mean, it sounds like we are not optimistic about receiving the Safer Grant.
So you're talking about,
So it sounds like if you're,
which one are you talking about?
Is
Are you
evaluate the
item
risk.
1A,
Item two.
item 2? Are you talking
item one, so.
Item 1?
Oh,
Okay. Okay, he was
So
talking
if we're
about
not,
item 2.
what I'm saying is, if we're not optimistic about receiving the Safer Grant, then it's easier to sort of start building
Oh.
the answer to number 2.
So number 2, I don't think it's anything to do with Safer Grant, in my mind. That's administration.
But it's,
What I think she's saying is the contingency, is what's the contingency, so.
So item number 2 is nothing to do with Safer Grant, so if I.
That's correct. So item A, B, and C.
But 1B is what you're talking about, correct?
so, I mean, it's all about funding though, right? So,
Fire chief is not within the funding parameters of the Safer.
right, but when we talk about the staffing in general, staffing.
Yeah, there are funding implications there are some funding implications. I think item 2 is really about the fire chief's possible retirement and when that might be, and what do we do to replace
got it, okay.
replace those duties, either like.
Looking at the 24-hour staffing or the 12-hour staffing, individuals and their current positions are very much dependent upon the safer versus as the fire chief
Is independent.
is independent of that. There could be salary savings if we went with halftime, but that is entirely independent of the safer grant.
So 1C and 2 are going to be determined independently from one another.
Yes,
Yes.
that's fair.
Did we, when we did Measure A, did we say that part of that was to have a full-time fire chief?
So it's not in the ordinance or the resolution that was approved with the Measure A. It was part of our communication, and it was part of what tallied the funding that was necessary, you know, that we went to a full-time fire chief because of the approval of Measure A, or we had funding for it because of Measure A, but it's not tied to, it's not, it wasn't a commitment made within the ordinance that the public approved.
Okay,
As a matter of fact, you might recall that we considered having a Atascadero, city of Atascadero perform
Yeah.
the
Fire chief.
fire administration functions in lieu of having a fire chief after Measure A was approved.
well, I know prior to Measure A, we had a part-time fire chief. And part of Measure A was to staff 24/7. I just want to make sure that we're not reneging on any commitments that we put into Measure A.
Not formally, I think that's probably a consideration that you'll have to make when you,
Okay.
when you
Okay.
evaluate those options.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other? Okay, move on, review of.
One more thing on this page. So are we changing the date for 3A since it's overdue? or-
Yeah, the blue date now shows December of 2025.
Oh, that's a new date, okay.
Yeah, sorry, it's probably black.
Not in the future.
Not in the future. Next time we'll do better.
If it was in red,
I like green.
Okay. New fire and emergency management meeting coming up, so we might have updates.
Is that it on that page?
Yes.
Okay, next page.
I wanted some clarification on 6A, just like more detail.
Oh,
There's a fire and emergency management meeting coming up.
So I think if 6A doesn't represent the direction that you gave, or the decisions that you made, which were really direction to staff, then this is a great time to revise the language. If you don't think this captures what
I just wanted,
A is the enforcement half and B is the code changes related to safe and sane fireworks.
I'm assuming that pending these upcoming meetings, A will become more specific. Is this language,
Well-
I think we had talked about,
I don't know who we collaboratively.
Right.
So I think it's really, I look at this as should read is evaluate and evaluate options for enforcement of illegal fireworks. Cause that's really what it is that you've gotta evaluate what are the options for
Yes,
that enforcement.
Absolutely.
And then the fire committee, I'm looking to come back to the board with recommendation.
My thought collaboratively would be financially, we may need to work with other groups in the community.
Well,
And if that's not the case, if, that would be like the fireworks booth and things like that,
so
so.
I think within the fire emergency management committee, we can start the initial application of how we can look at the enforcement.
That's part of the evaluation.
We start getting some of that data in, like, let's say we take drones. What is drones gonna cost us? Let's say we have outside agencies, what we have third parties, what do we, all of those types of options bring them back.
But I thought we were gonna, my hope is to invite the sheriff there,
Yeah,
to
we-
have the sheriff have the.
Oh,
fire committee.
absolutely.
So that's collaborative.
Let's
No,
collaborate.
So I would,
Yeah.
so I think it needs to be
And-
clarified then, so collaborate with sheriff and perhaps other agencies, cause I also look at this as,
Stakeholders.
well,
Stakeholders is a
I don't know that you wanna have stakeholders come in yet.
Okay.
I think it's really the sheriff, who's doing the enforcement, we rely upon the sheriff, so I think you need to collaborate with the sheriff. And
Don't you think that we should like, because I really think financially it would be a challenge for us.
Oh, I do
Yeah,
too.
so, to have the fireworks booth, if they show up, to have them there to see what our challenges are, to understand why, if we're gonna ask them to contribute.
I don't know that they should be part of what we look at as options before the board. I think it's really, it's,
I think
Well,
that's the
I
essential-
believe that they
that's
should,
public
they are
input.
they're a stakeholder within how we move forward.
they can
So
be,
they're-
but I don't know that they.
No, they can be invited,
Yeah.
just as the public should be invited,
Yeah.
just as anyone else should be invited to within that committee meeting. And that they can provide insight, but all the committee meeting is doing is taking a look at that information,
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
providing that information
Yes.
before us.
Yeah.
And then we get direction based upon what are available.
Well, I also think it's not just the district and the sheriff. I think it's gotta be even John Fashan and Heather Moreno.
And also,
Because basically, it's an issue countywide. And why should we be attacking this in silos? There's some benefits to be gained by having it kind of a collaborative across all the county, the entire county.
and also I think county parks should be involved.
A-
because
absolutely,
they- we-
absolutely.
Yeah, so
So-
I mean, that's why I think that's part of the collaboration that probably. And if you wanna be specific about that, that would be fine, but
We don't have dates. We know that this meeting needs to happen.
So we do have, we actually, we're able to set a date today for next Thursday.
Yes, correct.
But
next Thursday?
the 25th, I think it's the 25th,
This Thursday, yes.
yes, next Thursday. And I think that that's one of several meetings
Yes.
before
Yeah,
this,
it's not-
before we
it's not
have
gonna
something
be
to
a
come back to
single
the board. Yeah, this is gonna be, okay, here's what you wanna explore, here's what we'll research, and we'll report back, and it's gonna take a little bit before we have something that can come before the board in a more comprehensive fashion.
Yeah, but I
It's
think-
not just a code change, it's now we need the tools to enforce and
Yes.
a plan, a budget, and everything else.
Well, and I think you need to include all those agencies, all
So-
those folks that should be.
Okay, so I guess here's my challenge. Yes, we reluctantly got confirmation that the sheriff's department will send a representative. I invited the county parks, they did not show up to the meeting.
Yeah,
They don't work for me,
yeah, I realize that.
so,
So I think, but if we have it as,
sorry.
we're going to.
You don't have the power, guys.
Oh, yes, you with the power. Well, I mean, and that's
We
understandable.
want
We
them to
don't-
be
we
table.
only ask that they participate. But I think that, you know, what I look at is the committee has to look at what do we need to do? And then there's a cost to that, and how do we fund it? I think that people who have some impact on this will be those folks selling the fireworks. So I think they need to be involved, but I think in terms of how does the county and all its agencies, how do we combat illegal fireworks? Somebody is bringing them into the county and, you know, going to the borders and then hustling men. It's like they're selling drugs,
Yes, but
you know? I mean, it's a problem.
I agree, but I think this first meeting that we're going to have, we can have the discussions, we can invite the participants to come to this meeting. Be able to provide the feedback. Because inclusive with the enforcement and or code changes
Mhm.
is the feedback from the public, and that includes individuals who are selling legal fireworks, or however we want to describe it, or anyone else who's involved in the community. We can get a better idea of how we can,
Yeah,
and that includes the costing. We can look at the things, we can start asking the questions. How much will drones cost us? Is this a viable option? How much is it gonna cost for overtime or enforcement and things of that nature? So that we have a better idea of how we can practically apply an enforcement policy against illegal fireworks.
So I think the people who are doing the fireworks booths, do they wanna fund it? Probably not.
one of them said they will. A couple of them
When they could, no cost. Yeah, I think the first thing is gotta be is, you might wanna just try and have the first meeting to say, what are the stakeholders, who needs to be involved?
And actually, we need to have TNT there as well, because if we're gonna do the 7% tax surcharge.
That's a viable option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all,
Yeah,
you know,
so
this,
that's-
this meeting that's coming up, one of the biggest challenges is going to be to bring the individuals, and when I say stakeholders, I don't mean the individuals, fireworks vendors per se, but, you know, from the community vendors, community
Yeah.
members who have been directly affected by illegal fireworks. And that can be, whether they want to show up or not, individuals from the county when it comes down to the parks. But that could be SO, and that can be CAL FIRE, and that could be anyone else involved with it.
So I think it's gotta be then explore options for enforcement of illegal fireworks and include, the sheriff, the county park, and TNT and all the other,
I mean, that's what,
fireworks
to me,
booths.
that's what collaborative
Could-
means.
But it's who you're
Because I don't
collaborating
wanna-
with.
But I don't, if you go too specific, you know, as we are getting into the details and
Well,
everything.
then just say stakeholders. So just,
Yeah.
you know, cause you're really scheduling a meeting, you're going to explore the options and you're
Yeah.
going to include those stakeholders.
I think that, but I think if we don't include some sort of implementation, we will fall short of what the board's decision was.
Yes.
Was 2 weeks ago, so I think it's evaluate options and implement something for next.
Make a recommendation.
Yeah,
I mean, cause there's gotta be some, you're gonna explore what are those options for enforcement. But I see this as a county-wide issue. That's why I say, John Pashan, cause I intend on knocking on his door and saying, we need to talk about this. Because, you know, we can't do it in a silo. Even if we have all the firework booths, TNT willing to pay for the whole thing, I think we're spitting in the wind.
I'm sure you hate to hear this, but I personally invited John Pishon.
Oh, I know you do. I know. But I think that he needs kind of a
So
little
is that
talk
what
to.
it is?
So I really
You know,
don't,
especially listening to the sheriff's comments on September 2nd, where the sheriff was saying, you know, it's a problem. He acknowledged they have no resources. So something's gotta be done.
yeah, and I think is the plan as it's written until this committee meeting engages and concludes. Like, as it's written currently, what we can see, like effectively states what our goals are.
Could we break them up? I understand,
No.
what I'm saying is, I think a lot more detail will come out of your committee meeting, and that was my original point. But I do think breaking them up into potentially 2 buckets, which is the evaluate the options and then the implementation part.
Sure.
Because I think that will be easier for us to
Of
track.
course, I think that would be very
Um,
good, because I would think after we evaluate, we're gonna come to the
Right.
board.
Yeah.
And then,
And then after
discuss.
the committee meeting, perhaps we can revisit this actual document in terms of like finessing the language so that we're a little bit more clear about
Mhm.
how, you know, the
What if I do this? What if I add to the committee's agenda?
Thank you.
Some fine tune, something
Yes,
here, so that, so there's some work done on this, and the next time you see this, it'll include those further revisions.
but I do think that those should be broken into.
I
they
would
should
just
be
say
separated.
stakeholders. Instead of collaborating, because I look at this and say, who are you collaborating with?
that's fine, yeah, I agree, that's fine. Alright, so did you have another question?
No, that was my
it?
main.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Alright, revised code, limiting safe and sane firework sales and use, okay, we talked about that, and identify and implement a public outreach campaign employee, okay, alright. Next page is, objective supporting action for fire station expansion, so we are going through that, and then there's a lot of NTRs there, but that's.
And so these are all, so these blue.
So they
ones
got
are
delayed, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because of attention's being diverted through the meeting.
Well,
No, not
also-
really, just the length of time that the county told us it's gonna take. They basically said 26 weeks before we get our first comments back.
26 weeks?
Yes,
26?
That's.
Are you
6
kidding?
months
I am not.
For,
That
for
is-
just a remodel?
That's,
Wow.
yeah, that's,
Something else to talk to John Pashan about.
6 months.
And you think you're gonna get money for firework prevention?
Wow. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. We were thinking.
So it's 6 months, is that what you're saying?
That's for first round comments.
Oh, God, I feel like
This
this
is-
park all
yeah,
over
I know,
again. It's like,
exactly.
oh my
This was
God.
supposed to
I
be
got
remodeled.
PTSD
We weren't
from
even
that.
supposed to, we're not doing anything crazy. How?
Second step
Is it that because, are they
52
possibly
weeks.
short-staffed?
Yes.
Yes to that? Yes, they are in planning
All across the board.
all across the board. Would they have a mass retirement,
They had a mass layoff,
layout?
county.
Oh. That's how they
Alright.
hit
And
the
I
budget
think the
numbers.
chief deputy sheriff, basically said, this is what we can do and we can't do anymore. Unless you get, he didn't say it, but unless you get the board to give us more money. And as I recall, it took John Bashan 4 years to get an extra deputy up there. So,
Okay, so, alright, so that's disappointing.
Okay,
on
so,
that.
yeah.
So we, any questions on that page? No. And the last page for fire is just, develop plans for phase 1 and obtain necessary permits from the county. This is just for phase 1. Oh, this is for the,
That's
yeah,
training,
it's,
training ground.
training. Okay, so that's, okay. The next,
How long are those permits, good for?
I wanna say they're good for a year unless you're under construction and then you can keep it.
Okay, if it's only a year, I'm thinking we should file all permits.
you can get it extended.
Yeah, you can get extensions and once you have, the hard part's getting that far.
so the next item is our parks, rec department, first page, any questions on that?
No.
Second page?
B, is that gonna come before the committee, or do we need to provide clarity? Comment is defined further.
Yeah, so on item B, 5B, responsible party felt that that this was already being had, and so you're right, it could include more detailed definition as to what this objective is. If there's something in addition, or more specificity, I can't say
I know,
bigger.
yeah.
Again, it gets me every time too, but if there's something,
We get it out to the committee meeting agenda.
yeah, we can.
That way Mel's available.
We're maintaining.
Just now?
No, during our strategic.
We're maintaining
Yeah.
our current
You brought it up,
programs. We're
so what
not
was your purpose?
Removing. or
Um,
adding.
I wanted to see
Yes.
more, ideas for things outside of rec programs and,
Okay,
and.
so that I
either-
know things we've talked
Yeah,
about. Okay.
and so like either partnering with neighboring park and rec communities to do more things like that, how we have the skate. Fest, Monster Skate that has, multiple locations across the county, partnering perhaps with Paso and Templeton Commerce, things like that. I wanted to see.
Alright. Okay, any other questions on that? Continue into the sport. Next page for the public buildings, parks and facility to ensure accessibility, safety and aesthetics. So it seems like the first one, number 1, nothing, there's no comments or anything. Practice schedule to regular address accessibility. So
Okay.
nothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
we-
it's really A, B, and C.
Oh, yeah, that's
Subsection.
right, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, so yes, so it
I
looks
have a
like
question
thing
on
2. Okay, go
2A,
ahead.
what is CASP?
Certified accessibility specialist, I believe it's a.
Oh, okay, for ADA?
Yeah. Isn't it having to do with
It's ADA.
Yeah. Compliance?
Any other questions on that page? Next page. This is a lot of it on Justin here. With any questions for that?
We're talking on D, we're talking the exterior of the buildings?
It's primarily exterior. There may have been some
Yeah.
interior,
Yeah,
some,
because I thought the
that were noted
community
as well.
center looked nice.
Community center was repainted during COVID,
Yeah.
interior.
Yeah,
Yeah, the parks, the building is back, right,
Yeah.
the building is back. Okay, anything else on that page? No? Okay. Next page, starting with 3B. Looking at November 20 is on track.
these are pretty far out.
Maintenance management school. Through CPRS,
CPRS is California Parks and Recreation Society.
maintenance management,
That's completed.
okay, so yeah, so a lot of stuff, okay. Any questions on that? And then we go to the last page for parks. On the previous page,
Yes, previous page, item J, I listed it plus. Are we looking at any other vendors within that spectrum, or are we still primarily investigating Tyler's?
We haven't looked at other options yet, and still really just trying to explore how Tyler can how they can support us and what tools we can use with them with their asset management and then slash work order system. And so although we've looked into Tyler and their asset management module, don't have enough information to really do
Mostly prelim at this point.
very much so.
Thank you.
okay, so we'll go back to the last page. Complete Everest Park improvement plan, wow. 85%. And it's overdue. And it's probably gonna be another 6 months. Probably to get back
No,
to
I
us.
mean, yeah, I hope not. So we have
Not
30
quite
submitted,
anymore.
so it won't, it doesn't have to start from scratch.
Wow. I mean, I don't know what to do here.
We're probably further than this, than getting it back to county. We just got final quotes from our consultant to do the revisions to the plan sheets.
Okay,
That just came today.
alright. Any questions on that? Everest Park, okay. Alright, next page for wastewater. It seems like everything is on track. On that page, any questions there? And then. Next page, everything on track or complete. Who runs this department?
So it's nice to see, there's a couple things that are completed here, the develop employee resource binder. Develop initial facilities invoice database or inventory database. Those are two things that are completed. And they're both completed ahead of schedule,
Yeah.
so. Thank you.
That's because you got help.
It takes a team.
Yeah.
Oh, you're finishing, yeah, everything else, the
Yeah.
next page, on track, everything is good, 100%. Yeah, we have to come up with more strategic plan. Goals for you.
Well, there's water too.
Okay, oh, yeah, okay, we'll get 1 second. Okay, so there's one item, solicit proposal for final design test.
So for water, number D, evaluate water buffer model, it says completed May 2025. So,
Are you, which,
Yeah, the board approved the update to the water buffer
Yeah.
model
Oh,
on
yeah.
June 3rd.
yeah,
Yes.
That's
We agreed with the new.
yeah, we released water units.
yeah, that was updated.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, the buffer model changed, the supply model, buffer policy changed.
Yeah,
Yeah, we changed this, so remember we.
but we didn't change the model though.
Yes.
We did.
Change
Yeah.
the assumption.
Change the
Yeah,
model?
we changed it, so we are taking into account affluent water from the salt water unit.
Okay, yeah, all right, I remember that. Thank you.
Okay, and then, so then, on page, page was that? 2D, develop and implement, flush and valve acquisition program, so all those identified tenants for flushing, so there's on track, and then everything else, so there's one item that's overdue. And that's the new pump and column pipe startup. For Platts flow. So we changed it to October 25. Couple items. Okay, so there are a couple items, okay, any questions on that? All right, next page, county road turnout design, so so that's.
I have a question. I just wanted to know how item D, the new GIS system training's going.
So, MKN and Associates are helping us out. They're our consultant in integrating our information into that ArcGIS system. And so we just received word that that was completed. And so myself, the district engineer, Chief Peterson, and then our operators were just invited were signed up for GIS, enrolled. And have just started, I just watched my operators for the very first time at the end of last week go into the system, pull data for water. It was specific to the hospital and different valves in front of the hospital, Twin Cities Hospital. So it was, anyways, it was pretty cool to see, and it's just the beginning. Esri reached back out, that's who the software is through, and they reached back out recently and already want to know our feedback and, things that we've learned already or insights or what our feedback is. So, but this is just the beginning, and so we're excited about growing it in the further phase 2 and phase 3. Keeping this going and keep revising and making it better and, helping our staff and the community.
Thank you. And then the last page, it's investigate options to incorporate asset management into existing enterprise software.
Long term.
Yeah. Okay, so. Good. Any questions? Any further questions, comments?
This is good. Thank you. Thank you, Justin.
And I like this template that we're using.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's.
You're okay with,
It's much easier than what we're-
The other one.
Well, it's much easier than what we've had in the past, so, it's a nice dashboard. So,
Yeah.
it works.
Good. I would ask that, I know, or maybe we don't want, or maybe you don't want to adopt it since it sounds like there's gonna be some requested revisions coming out of the fire committee on that fireworks change. That's kind of the goal, the objectives that we've recommended be added deal with fireworks. So I had put this on the agenda as an action item for you to accept this report. But if you'd like there to be further changes, maybe you table that acceptance until those are better
Well,
I
defined.
think we're okay, I think we're okay,
We consider this a living
Yeah.
document.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna,
yeah.
And the idea, comments, suggestions, changes, dates. Can always come back to the board as we see fit with changes that could happen to the community. Sure.
Well, I think you may have additional comments after the meeting, so I think we're fine with.
Yeah, I think.
if you wanna,
It's fine
then I would
with-
recommend you accept the report, that way we can post it and it's clear to the public that you
Okay.
bless what's here today.
All right, no more comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept this report.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
Oh, sorry. It sounded like a motion to me.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Director Bardonish,
Aye.
Tyrone. Aye. Logan,
Aye.
Mortensen,
Aye.
and Hughes.
Yes. Great, thank you. Passes 5-0. Thanks for the update, you guys. Great job.
Appreciate it.
Can't wait for the.
Bob, the Bob is
I can't wait for the fuchsia.
Fuchsia. Green, I got you.
Christmas.
Yeah. All right, general manager's report.
Just a couple items that I wanted to call to your attention, or remind you of. One, it's a really busy weekend coming up in the community. The Templeton Feed and Grain fundraiser activities are this weekend. There's a dinner Friday night. It's my understanding that it is sold out, no more tickets available. Sunday from 10 to 4, there's a street fair. Well, I'm using that term, it's a maybe Sunday fun day. Petting zoo, car show, tractor show, demonstrations, band, vendors, etc. Benefiting the Feed and Grain fundraiser. 10 to 4 on Sunday. Also on Saturday, not related, it's our community cleanup day, and that starts out in this room, and then volunteers go out in the community and pick up all kinds of unsightly stuff from roadways and public rights of way and creeks, etc. So that's this Saturday morning. And then also on Saturday, that's something that we're very involved with, but there's another fundraiser that Denham and Tynan's Templeton Education Foundation.
Is that it?
That's it.
Any questions for General Manager? I have one question for you, I'd like to ask you before, and if you don't know the answer to that, you can get back to me. But someone had asked me, and this question came up, and I didn't have an answer to it. For in our contract with Waste Management, are residents or ratepayers getting a discount for the recycling? That, you know, obviously the Waste Management gets money with all our recyclables, so is there something in there that ratepayers that get, that they told me maybe about an amount of $1.50 a month?
Oh, so, you know, maybe you could say so indirectly. I guess the short answer is gonna be no. In that the proceeds from the recycling benefit our proceeds for the company, whether it was Mid-State Solid Waste or Waste Management. But in the rate calculations originally, there were assumptions used about those revenue sources that indirectly came into the hauler. So I think they impact our rates, but you can't see it.
You can't say about it.
You cannot see
Yeah,
it.
that's what, yeah.
So they're not dynamic. In other words, the cost or the value of recyclables vary dramatically. Like I remember over the years, like cardboard would go from like $100 a ton to like 0, and you couldn't even get rid of it. So our rates are not dynamic. They don't depend on those swings. But the original calculations considered, when I say the original calculation, I'm talking about 2001. Because we've essentially just been adjusting since, considered the value of those.
But is it in our contract that says that they discount?
It does not say so.
Maybe in 10 years when you're renegotiating it, you could. have
Well, I
put it
think
in
if you
there.
look at the details of how they come up with the rates, you would probably find it.
I mean, it's, you know, yes, we will, unless we revise the contract, probably not have a new rate structure until a new franchise agreement is negotiated. Again, unless there's a mutual agreement between us and Waste Management to do so. And then at that time, you'd have a new baseline rate. Right now, our rates only adjust based on, the franchise agreement allows rates to adjust based on legislative changes. In other words, 1383 as an example, or annual adjustments to the CPI and or tipping fees charged at the facility. So that's why they've generally gone up.
Okay, thank you, I know you. But thank you for the answer, appreciate it. Okay, next item is committee reports, no committee. Oh, there was no tag.
No.
No?
No,
Okay.
no, that was last meeting.
But that's.
One in 2 days.
Well,
There-
there's 1 and 2 days
yes.
pending get included in here.
Activity update reports, engineering, any questions on engineering? Don't think I have any. Finance? No, fire and emergency?
Well, I do have a question on finance. I think at the last meeting, it was reported that there was a problem with the billing statements. Would that get rectified?
Yeah, well, we were able to get them emailed out. So, but we haven't gone through another cycle yet. And the problem, so I believe so, but I won't know with
Until
certainty
you
until
run
the next
billing?
cycle.
Okay.
But we both mailed and actually because we were having this delay, we decided to go ahead and process a hard copy mailing for those bills. Then the emails were able to go out, and so those customers then got 2 bills, and that caused a little more confusion, but I think better 2 than none.
No, I got both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
Did you get the email? Or you always get mail? Oh, both, okay. Okay, fire and emergency services, any questions? Parks, rec and solid waste, any questions? Okay, utilities, any questions? Okay, awesome. Directors report and or comments, any comments, any meetings? Okay, I just handed out this local task force newsletter, so this is a new item they're gonna have as part of trying to communicate more with get more communications from IWMA, so this will be coming out every other month. And I know general manager, you get it.
I got it,
Yeah,
yes.
so maybe if we could print it out or something.
We can include it in
Yeah.
Can you explain what the edible food recovery is? That just doesn't sound appetizing to me.
It's your compost.
It's like, we found some stuff in the trash.
You want, you got it? Okay, so under 1383, the SB 1383, there's a requirement that all jurisdictions implement a program to recover food that remains edible to feed persons who are food deficient. And so this program is not pulling food scraps out of green waste containers. It's actually a coordination with grocery stores and restaurants of certain sizes. They have to be enrolled in a program where these products end up at like homeless shelters, et cetera.
Okay,
Yeah.
And IWMA coordinates that on our behalf. We
okay.
don't have very many facilities that require participation because of there's
Yeah.
pesticides, not every place that makes, it's not for residential customers, it's
Yeah,
for
yeah.
commercial.
My understanding, like Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And-
like a little wilted, so.
and we're doing well with that. And then a couple of other items with IWMA. We just had a meeting and they used to have a grant, technical assistant grant that they used to give to government agency or private businesses and things like that, and it had been going on, it's been going on since 1996. But what happened over the last meeting came up for discussion to see if we want to continue it or not, and I actually spoke in favor of it. But however, there's some questions came up whether it was acceptable through our joint agreement, joint power agreement, whether we could do that. So some of the board members started, talking about eliminating the program, and then as more conversation happened, it got to a point where it seemed like if they continued the program, it was gonna be in a way that was gonna be disadvantage this towards small districts. Because it would require staff to be able to come up with innovative ideas, to come up with, grant ideas and things like that, and that's what's gonna be difficult for the small jurisdictions. So I ended up voting to ban the grant as well. So hopefully down the road, we will come up with something else, but for now, the grant has been banned. The other item that was a little bit, it was concerning was we received the audit for IWMA, and the audit was actually for ending a period for June of 24.
Financial audit?
Yes, financial audit for ending, so it was a year late. And there was reasons that were late, and it was not a good audit. And I anticipate that
Good in which way?
it was not good.
Well, I mean,
There was-
that the finances
The
are.
outcome doesn't sound.
Yeah, there were some payroll inconsistencies and there's lack of
Lack of
oversight,
control.
lack of controls, check and balances, and I'm assuming that the next one is going to be bad as well. So it's something that we're hoping to put behind us. But yeah, it's on the, it was on our agenda, so it's on the website, so you're more than welcome to look at it, but, oh yeah. That was, yeah, with IWMA. It was an interesting meeting. I think that's it. That's as far as I got to report.
So what is IMWA? What are they doing to address what sounds like?
Well,
lack
now
of
we have
controls?
the-
Are they making procedural changes?
Yes, so through the audit, through the auditor, they came up with procedures and the new executive director is committed to transparency and
So they made some
Yes, they made some
recommendations,
recommendation and they're gonna, and that was the reason it was late because they couldn't even figure out the
Send
payroll.
Wayne in.
It was, yeah, it was, you may wanna look at it, it's like that. Alright, so we are done with that section of our meeting, and then, so just gonna go, we're gonna go into closed session, so I just wanna check to see if there's any public comment on closed session. Our items are public employee annual performance evaluation for the title general manager, and we're also going to have a conference with labor negotiator. Any comments on that from public? No, okay.
Can I just ask about the appointment for Measure A committee members? Are we still meeting committee members?
Yes.
We are, okay. Okay.
We have some applicants, when you say needing them, we need the board to appoint additional members to the committee so the committee can exist.
But you've got applicants.
But we have a couple of applicants in, but yeah, a few more would be helpful.
Okay, I'll mention it in tag.
All right, meeting adjourned, and we'll go to our closed session.